Hi everybody, welcome back to the Drunken Bull Ranch. I'm Reed. Today we are going to do a review on our LS tractor. It is an XR4150. We have around 715 hours on it right now. Let me turn this around and we'll show you the tractor. Okay, so this is a 2017 model. We bought it in January of 2019. It was on clearance because they were trying to get it off their lot. I'm gonna say we got a pretty decent deal on it. It was a whole lot cheaper than some of the other brands that I'd seen out there, and it's been a pretty decent tractor. So let me show you a few things here. I'm going to share one of my woes. The bucket attachment is an LS XR4150. I'm going to say that I've somewhat kind of abused it. I don't know if you can see it from here, but I will show you this. It has a skid steer style bucket attachment. I have bent one of those arms because it got stuck trying to get it off, and straighten it back out. But you do need to grease that regularly, and if you look here, there is no real spot to grease it. I just kind of get the grease in there as best I can so that it'll move freely. Sorry, I've got that up in the air so that I could get into the engine compartment to show you a few things. Okay, so how you access the engine compartment is this little push button, and it just pops up like that. Okay, so in the engine compartment here, right there's your battery, and I did not clean this up because I wanted you all to be able to see how it looks after hours of work. You have your air cleaner here, and your radiator fill is here. Now, one of the problems that we had on this particular tractor is that this AC pump right here went out. Now, it was under warranty at the time, and they replaced it at no charge to us, other than we had to get it to the dealership so they could do it. One thing about this that was an even more significant problem is that right here you have the ECU, and that went out on us at one point during hay season, and we were out of business for, I want to say it was close to 10 days. I had to go borrow a tractor from my brother so we could finish our hay. So in here there is a screen right in here that you just unscrew this guy right here like that, and that screen will pull out and you can clean it out. It helps to keep your radiator from getting plugged up, but I have found that stuff will go through there and you will still get a plugged up radiator, and then you're gonna have to flush it out with a hose or something. Okay, so continuing on, in here in this section you've got the starter. Right down here is your oil dipstick, fuel filter. On the other side, over here, you got your belt tension adjustments. I haven't had to replace the belts on this yet, but I tend to keep them pretty well maintained. You've got your oil filter right there. Under there is your hydraulic filter. Most of these are pretty easy to get to. Here's your hydraulic connections for your bucket attachment. They're all color coded so you get them in the right spot. I have had the bucket off a couple of times and it's done okay. Putting it back on, it's pretty easy. I will say that, as you can see right here, these hoses rub against the hood and wear the paint off. So let's see. You've got In your front end here, you have areas where you can check your fluids. You got grease certs. I'm actually planning to grease this today. I think it's been about a month since I've gone through and greased all this stuff because, well, it's winter and we haven't been using it that much. But let's show you this. Here is the fuel tank. I really like this, partly because I don't have to hold the can up over my head to put fuel in it. It's really easy to fuel. Let's go around to the back side and show you a few things. Okay, so here's your washer fluid. I'm gonna say keep that full because your windows get dirty and you can't see anything. And then you can check your fluids here. And this is one of the features that I really like about this tractor. Right here, this handle will adjust your 3-point hitch up and down. Now there are a couple of things about this 3-point hitch that I'm not necessarily a fan of and some that I am. The first is that these clips always get messed up and they do not want to function correctly. You can see that it doesn't want to close because it popped out. One of these days I'm going to find some new ones, but at the moment they've been working. This feature, sorry guys, I think I just had my finger in the picture. This feature right here is kind of nice. Let me move that. Okay, so you push down on this, and this will slide out for hooking up your equipment that you put on your 3-point. I do like that feature about it. One thing that I had happen, you can see here that this guy hangs on here. Now, if you're hitting a bump or something, I broke the back window out of this guy right there. That came in contact with the window, and I'm going to say that was not the cheapest window I ever replaced in my life. But, I mean, that was my own fault as far as I was concerned. Now, it does have the plug that you can plug in your lights and whatnot. Now, this is a feature that I liked. It has 3 remotes back here. My bell wagon requires 3 remotes, and most of the tractors I ran into did not have 3 remotes. So I like that feature about it. Let me say that the work lights work pretty well. I've had to adjust them a couple of times, but they work pretty good that way. One of the things that I forgot to mention is that I do really love having a cab on this thing. If you're out working in the dust and the snow and everything else, that cab is worth every penny. Now, let me close this. Because it has the cab, there is an air filter right there. You're going to want to change that pretty regularly. You get dust and grime in there. There's also one on this side right there. It's really easy. It unscrews and just goes right in. I like the mirrors that came with it. They're big mirrors. I can pretty much see everything that I'm doing. Let me go inside the cab here. Okay, so to access fuses, things like that, you take these 2 screws out. The panels are underneath there. There's one on either side. Let me step up in here. So this unit has 4 gears here, 4 gears there, or 4 ranges and 4 gears in each range. Forward and reverse is here. Let's see, these other handles over here. You've got right down here is your park brake. God, I got my finger in there again, guys, sorry. So right here is my park brake. You have your 3 remotes right there for your hydraulics on the back. This is your PTO up, or 3-point hitch up and down. Here's your float. I like that feature. Bucket controls are here. There's a lockout there. This is to turn on your yeah, that's to turn on your PTO. You've got your throttle here. Over here are lights. Again, forward and reverse right there. The handle to adjust the steering wheel up and down is right here. You can see you've got your horn, your hazards, lights, and you can do the auto or manual on the PTO. Now, there are a couple of things about this that I don't necessarily like. Oh, I forgot. Right down there is your positive traction. You just step on it. You got the split brakes, clutch, and the orange pedal there is your throttle. Now, this guy right here will drive you absolutely batty. That is your DPF. You can inhibit it or you can start it. Usually what I find happens, I'll be in the middle of doing some project or baling hay or dragging a pasture or whatever it may be, and that guy will kick on and say I need to do a burn off. You might as well just take a break for 15-20 minutes, because it's going to want to do it at any random time. I find that if I do the burn off before I start a project, I'm better off, but it will drive you batty, because it will just kick on and randomly say, yep, you're done for a little bit. So that part is aggravating. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you is right here. You've got your heater, AC controls. Over here, there is a place for a radio. I haven't put one in, partly because I like to hear what the equipment's doing, and if I'm listening to something, it's usually on my earbuds anyway. Right here, you've got lights, windshield wipers. You can put a beacon on this if you want to. I haven't. You got your throttle adjustments here. The armrests are kind of nice. They will adjust right here, up and down. Your seat adjusts right down here. You also have your ground speed control, stuff like that. So, for what we paid, this machine has a lot of amenities that I like. Like I said, heat and AC is wonderful, but a lot of the other brands that I looked at, for what I got with this, I mean, it was money well spent. The cab, things like that, just it made it astoundingly expensive for purchasing other brands. This one was really economical. Now, there are things about it that I just don't like. Like I said, the DPF, but I mean, that comes on everything now. So, one thing that I will say is that, let me start this and show you. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so you've got your display there. It says the park brake's on. And honestly, it's a pretty quiet tractor. Let me close the door. It's pretty quiet. Now, if I put this thing into drive or forward, it beeps at me because I'm in park. Okay? That's a safety feature. Now, if I take it out of park, there is nothing that indicates whether I am in forward or reverse, and I don't like that. I understand that it's just the model that I bought, but it aggravates me because I just would like a light or something. So let me shut that off and we'll continue talking. Like I said, there are certain things that kind of drive me batty. For example, the door latch right here. There is this little bolt right here that when you press the button on the outside, you can see it moving there. That guy likes to fall out, and I've had to put it in several times. This last go around I put a very small amount of Loctite on it because I was sick of it falling out and not being able to get in and out. I think that's why they put 2 doors on this thing. Oh, the other thing that I was going to mention is that I had to replace the hood latch. There is a little plastic guy in there. I don't know if you can see it, but it broke, and I had to put that hood latch in right there, which I just recently did. I mentioned this in another video, and this one has all metal parts in it instead of plastic, so hopefully it will last a lot longer. And as you can see, it closes wonderfully. This brings me to my next subject, the lights. The lights work great. They are bright. I can see what I'm doing. I've got a couple of work lights up there. And when I get home, sometimes it's dark out here, and it's nice to have the lights to see what I'm doing. Yeah, that is pretty much this tractor. Overall, I'm going to say that I am happy with it. It's done everything I've asked it to do, and some things that I probably shouldn't have asked it to do. We have a 2-bottom plow. It pulls it without a problem. I've got a 6-foot disc that goes on the 3-point that hasn't given it any issues. I also have an 8-foot spring tooth that I drag around with it. We use a old square bale John Deere. Oh, that's something I should tell you. Okay, let's go back here. Okay, this is where you would hook your baler up, or your swather, or whatever you're dragging. I'm going to say that this should have been built a little bit stronger. I've had to replace this piece. It's just held on by these 4 bolts. Reason being is it just would not support the weight of my Heston swather and my John Deere baler. There's a lot of tongue weight there. Now I'm gonna say that it was probably partly my fault that it broke, but it just bent, and then I noticed that the welds had broke one day. Now, as you can see, over there's my swather, and it's a pretty heavy bugger, but this little tractor runs it with no problem. It runs our 466 John Deere square baler, no problem. Honestly, I would like to upgrade to a round baler, but I don't know that it has the horsepower for that. It'd have to be a pretty small round baler, and I don't want to overwork the tractor more than I already am. Like I said, it's done everything I've asked it to do, and a lot of things that it shouldn't have done, and it did it anyway. The 4-wheel drive is amazing. I love that. And yeah, overall, I would give this thing probably about a 4.5 star rating. It's never really given me any grief starting it. It's been pretty good. So there you go. That is a 700-hour review on our little LS tractor. And as I said, I mean, if you're going to get into farming, you got to have a piece of equipment that runs. And this guy has let me down a couple of times, but most of the time, I'm going to say 90% of the time, 95% of the time, this machine will do everything I need it to do. All right, well, have yourselves a wonderful day. Support your local farmers, and we'll talk to you next time.